Walking into Sam's Club feels like walking into a world of unbeatable bargains. The walls are lined with massive screens glowing like trophies, the aisles stacked high with boxes that look like instant wins. And those red instant savings tags make you feel like you've just discovered the secret to shopping smart. But what most people don't realize is that the entire setup is built around perception, not reality. Every discount, every flashing number, every aisle placement is designed to make you believe you're saving big, even when you might not be saving at all. Behind those smiling employees and warehouse lighting is a business model full of quiet catches, subtle marketing tactics, and hidden details that most shoppers never question. Once you see how it all works, you'll realize that the deal you're celebrating might actually be working against you. This is what Sam's Club doesn't tell you about their TVs, and it starts before you even touch the box. Before you even touch a TV, Sam's Club has already made money from you. That's the genius of their system. You don't just walk in and shop like you would at a regular store. You have to earn your way in. You pay for a membership, $50 a year for the basic tier, more than $100 for the plus version. On the surface, that sounds fine. It's not a massive expense, and they make it sound like you're joining an insider circle of smart shoppers who know where the real deals are hiding. But that membership does more than open the door. It changes your psychology completely. The moment you swipe your card, you're no longer a casual shopper. You're an investor. You've already spent money just to have the privilege of spending more, and that creates pressure in your mind to justify the cost. Even if you don't realize it, you start looking for reasons to prove that the membership was worth it. This is where the sunk cost effect kicks in. The more you've invested in something, the less willing you are to walk away, even when better options exist. It's the same reason people stay subscribed to gyms they never go to or streaming services they barely use. We hate admitting we're wasting money. Sam's Club knows this better than anyone. The membership isn't just about access, it's about psychological commitment. Once you're inside, everything you see reinforces that feeling of exclusivity. The layout looks different from a normal retail store. Industrial lighting, pallet stacks, no frills. It's designed to make you think, this is wholesale. I'm cutting out the middleman. You're surrounded by oversized packaging, bulk deals, and giant products that scream value. The minimalist presentation tricks your brain into associating size and simplicity with savings. But here's what most people don't realize. Sam's Club doesn't price match. If you find the same TV cheaper somewhere else, even the next day, you're out of luck. There's no adjustment, no refund of the difference, nothing. You'd think a store built around member value would have your back on pricing, but their policy makes sure the moment you swipe that card, the transaction is final. They rely on the fact that you won't go double-check elsewhere. The membership fee also hides another subtle advantage for them. It lets them manipulate pricing perception without lowering profit margins. Because members expect lower prices, they don't question tags as much. A $999 TV looks like a steal in Sam's Club because your brain automatically thinks that's the member discount. But if you looked it up online, you might find the same model, or a better one, selling for $949 at Best Buy or even Amazon. That's how they win twice. First with the membership fee itself, and second with your lowered skepticism. There's also the anchoring trick. When you see a massive 85-inch TV listed for $1,699 beside a smaller one for $899, you automatically perceive the smaller one as a bargain, even if both are overpriced. Anchoring gives you the illusion of choice while steering you toward what they want to sell. The price tags are laid out to create that middle option comfort zone, where you pick something that feels balanced between value and luxury. And because you've already paid to be there, you're less likely to leave without buying anything. Walking out empty-handed feels like wasting your membership. So even if you don't find the exact model you wanted, you'll convince yourself to grab something close enough just to make it worth it. This system doesn't rely on deception. It relies on subtle human behavior, pride, habit, and emotional justification. Sam's Club has turned those instincts into a business model. By the time you make it to the electronics aisle, you're already primed to believe every TV is a deal. You've invested in the store, you've accepted its exclusivity, and you've unconsciously agreed to trust its prices. That's why so many people don't question whether they're actually saving money. They've already decided that they are, long before they even compare a single number. And once that mindset locks in, everything else in the store, from the flashing discounts to the glowing screens, starts working exactly as planned. But the deeper truth about Sam's Club TVs isn't about price at all. It's about what's inside those TVs and what they won't tell you about the models they sell. Here's where things get interesting. The TVs Sam's Club sells aren't always the same ones you see at other stores, even if they look identical. The model numbers might differ by just a single letter, but that tiny difference can mean major changes inside the TV. Manufacturers like Samsung and LG create special versions of their products exclusively for warehouse stores. These are known as club models. On paper, they appear identical to the versions sold elsewhere. Same size, same features, same branding. But the components inside can be completely different. The display panel might come from a different factory. The brightness could be lower, or the internal processor might be a generation behind. This isn't necessarily bad. The picture will still look fine, but it's how the price gets reduced. The TV looks like a high-end model, but it's actually a slightly stripped-down version that's been optimized for one thing: to hit a target price that looks impressive on a warehouse shelf. That's why so many people feel like they scored a deal when they see that massive 85-inch QLED selling for hundreds less than retail. They don't realize that what they bought isn't the same model they were comparing online. It's an exclusive version built for bulk retailers, and it's exclusive for a reason. These club models rarely appear on the manufacturer's official website. If you ever need warranty support, repairs, or replacement parts, you might discover that the brand's customer service doesn't even recognize the model number. It exists only in the world of warehouse clubs. Once you understand that, the next part of the illusion starts to make even more sense. Every TV in Sam's Club looks incredible. The colors pop, the brightness stuns your eyes, and every screen seems like it's broadcasting from the future. But that perfect image is not how the TV will actually look once you bring it home. In the store, every display is set to what's called store mode, a setting that maxes out color saturation, contrast, and sharpness to grab attention under harsh fluorescent lighting. It's a psychological trick. The screen is designed to look amazing in that environment, but when you plug it in at home, it'll look dull, flat, or overly bright. That's when people start questioning whether something's wrong with the TV. They go online, search for fixes, and realize their set isn't defective. It's just finally showing its real picture. The vivid colors in the warehouse are part of a demo loop designed to mask flaws. The lighting, the footage, even the angle of the displays are all arranged to make every screen look premium. You might also notice that all the TVs in the store play the same video clips. Beaches, bright skies, neon lights. That's not a coincidence. It's meant to hide differences between models. The footage is carefully chosen to make mid-range panels look just as good as top-tier ones. In that moment, it doesn't matter what the actual specifications are. All that matters is what you feel, and you feel like you've found the perfect TV. That's how the showroom illusion keeps people buying, but that illusion fades fast once you leave the store and start reading the fine print. Taking home a TV from Sam's Club is easy. Returning it can be a completely different story. Electronics have a 90-day return window, which sounds fair until you realize how fast that time disappears. Once you've opened the box, set up the stand, and spent a week adjusting settings, your window for testing the TV is already closing. If you run into issues later, that's when things get complicated. Club models often aren't listed on the manufacturer's site, so when you contact customer support, they'll tell you to deal directly with Sam's Club. That means longer processing times, less flexibility, and more waiting. Then there's the extended warranty issue. Sam's Club offers all-state protection plans, which sound great on paper, but these are third-party contracts. You're no longer dealing with Samsung, LG, or Sony. You're dealing with a separate company that might take weeks to approve or deny a claim. Some customers have shared experiences of multiple delays or being told their model wasn't covered because it was a warehouse-exclusive version. Even if your claim goes through, the process isn't always smooth. Replacement models may not exist anymore, or you might get a partial refund instead of a new TV. And since Sam's Club doesn't price match, that refund might not be enough to replace the TV elsewhere at the same cost. It's not about scamming customers. It's just how the system is built, efficient for the store, not always for the buyer. But while the fine print can be frustrating, the pricing psychology behind these TVs is where things get truly interesting. Warehouse shopping is built on the idea of bulk value. You see the giant boxes stacked sky high, the bold signs promising massive discounts, and you instantly assume you're getting the best price available. But when it comes to TVs, that assumption doesn't always hold up. Tech analysts and Consumer Reports have compared Sam's Club TV prices with major retailers like Best Buy, Costco, and Amazon. The findings are surprising. In many cases, Sam's Club prices are identical or even higher once you factor in membership costs and taxes. Sometimes the difference is only a few dollars, but other times that exclusive savings ends up costing more than buying from a traditional store. The presentation is what sells it. Everything about the warehouse layout makes your brain associate quantity with value. The big fonts, the word instant savings, the towering displays, they're all part of a carefully constructed image that makes the same price feel like a better deal simply because of where it's placed. Even during major sale seasons, the trick continues. You'll see giant signs saying $200 off. But what you don't see is that competitors are running deeper discounts for the same models. Sam's doesn't show comparisons, just mark down percentages. It's an emotional game. You're not comparing data, you're reacting to design. By the time you realize it, you've already bought into the feeling of victory. That sense of pride in finding the best deal becomes part of the purchase itself. You didn't just buy a TV, you bought validation. But when the numbers are stripped of marketing, the truth is simple. The savings often aren't as large as they seem, and in some cases, they don't exist at all. By the time most people reach the electronics aisle at Sam's Club, they're already halfway into a carefully crafted illusion, one that began the second they bought their membership and ends only when that massive TV is sitting in their living room. Every step of the process feels natural, but behind that smooth experience is a system engineered to influence how you think, how you feel, and even how you define a good deal. What Sam's Club doesn't tell you is that almost every element of the store is built around psychological control. The tall ceilings, the endless rows of bulk products, the plain warehouse design. They all work together to make you believe you're stepping into a wholesale distribution center where markups don't exist. That atmosphere disarms your skepticism. When things look industrial instead of flashy, you assume prices are stripped down too. But the truth is, the aesthetic is just another part of the sales strategy. Walk through any Sam's Club and you'll notice how the path subtly leads you from daily essentials, like paper towels or cereal, toward big-ticket electronics. You start your trip in a practical mindset, thinking about savings on necessities. And by the time you reach the TV section, your brain is already conditioned to associate everything in the store with value. That's not coincidence. It's retail psychology, and it's one of the most powerful tools in modern marketing. Then there's the scarcity illusion. You'll see limited time tags, clearance stickers, or small whiteboards scribbled with "while supplies last." They're not lying. Some models really are limited stock. But the visual urgency is deliberate. It triggers what psychologists call loss aversion. The fear of missing out on a deal hurts more than the satisfaction of saving money. So people rush decisions. Instead of comparing model numbers or checking specs, they grab whatever seems like the last chance before it disappears. Add to that the sensory overload, the sound of carts, the chatter of shoppers, the constant movement. All of it keeps your brain active just enough to prevent deep thinking. It's not a quiet, reflective space. It's a subtle form of distraction. You're processing hundreds of sights and sounds while trying to decide between two televisions, and that mental noise pushes you toward the option that feels most familiar or most heavily discounted. Even the lighting plays a role. The bright, neutral lighting of a warehouse floor makes TV screens look vibrant no matter what's on them. You could place a mediocre panel under those lights, crank up the store mode, and it would still appear premium. When you see dozens of glowing screens lined up together, your brain naturally assumes that if they all look amazing, they must all be good deals. What Sam's Club doesn't tell you is that those small manipulations, none of which break any rules, are the foundation of the experience. They don't need to lie, they just have to guide perception. And when you're surrounded by symbols of savings, your skepticism fades without you realizing it. There's also the trust transfer effect. Because Sam's Club is connected to Walmart, people assume it shares the same level of reliability, return policies, and customer protection. But it doesn't. The systems are different. The warranties differ. The pricing structure is separate. Yet the shared branding quietly makes shoppers lower their guard. It's brand psychology at its most efficient. Familiarity creating comfort, comfort creating confidence, and confidence leading to quick decisions. Even after the purchase, the cycle continues. When you take that TV home, you're proud of the deal. You tell your friends about it, you post pictures, and you mentally reinforce that it was a smart decision. That sense of pride becomes self-protection. You don't want to find out you could have gotten a better model elsewhere, so you avoid comparing. You justify the purchase by focusing on what you saved, not what you spent. That's how Sam's Club keeps its reputation intact without needing to constantly compete on price. Customers become their own marketing. The deal becomes part of their identity. But there's another layer most people never think about: the long-term cost of these small compromises. A slightly downgraded panel might not bother you at first, but over time, the difference shows. Maybe the brightness fades faster, or the HDR performance isn't what you expected. Maybe you go to adjust a feature you saw online and realize your model doesn't even have it. It's death by 1,000 cuts. Small technical sacrifices that make the TV cheaper to produce, and you won't notice until months later. Sam's Club isn't a villain in this story. It's a business that understands human behavior better than most. It knows how to make you feel like an insider, how to make you believe you've unlocked secret pricing, and how to turn ordinary transactions into emotional wins. But when you look past the bright screens and instant discounts, you see the real picture. The membership fees, the club-only models, the vivid showroom displays. They all work together to build a sense of trust and exclusivity. Yet none of it guarantees the best deal. If you buy from Sam's Club with clear eyes and a bit of research, you can still walk away with something worthwhile. But if you buy with emotion, you might end up paying more than you think. Not in money, but in perception. Because the real magic of Sam's Club isn't in what they sell. It's in how they make you feel when you buy it. And when it comes to TVs, the biggest illusion isn't on the screen. It's in the sale itself. Now you know what Sam's Club doesn't tell you about their TVs. If you guys liked today's video, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.